Okay, I mean, unless if you could blow up all of our Enchantments opponents, we basically have the win next turn. They scry, sure, get their pump, do whatever you want, opponent. That's fine, sure, swing. I'll even jump block. Doesn't even matter. Because wait for it. There we go. Toss that, no big deal because we win. There, nice. Hello my fiery friends, the Infernoman here with the hottest in budget deck technology. And for today's deck tech, it is finally time everyone. Duskmorn is now descended upon us, and we are now going to put together our first deck tech based upon what you all voted on. Yes! That's right. So without further ado, join me today as we take our first deck into the Explorer format, a deck that I am calling Azorius Control Better. But before we continue, if you do like any of the content that I do, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you watch the content. You can support me monthly for a small amount on Patreon, where I have all of my extended bonus footage posted, or for free, all you can just do also is just join our growing community on Discord. Your support helps keep this channel going. All links are in the details below. Longtime viewers of the channel know how we do it. We have to talk about the stats of the deck before we dive right in. So our room control deck, as I mentioned earlier, is made up of white and blue. Your average mana curve looks, okay, it does look a little goofy at 5.6, but hear me out. It's actually not 5.6, but I'll explain why in a little bit. We're looking at a total of 6 creatures, 4 sorceries, 28 enchantments, and 24 lands. Our deck today is mostly focusing on a control build where we're trying to play with the new mechanic from Duskmorn, the Room Enchantment subtype. So with that, we will put down as many rooms and unlock as many of them as possible, and hopefully we can either finish off our opponent with a game-winning Central Elevator ability, or we'll just overwhelm our opponent with a ton of little red gremlin creature tokens to hopefully win the game. But how exactly can we pull that off with nothing but enchantments in the whole deck?
Good question!
Well, I'm glad you asked. So without further ado, let's go ahead, let's dive right into it and explain how this all comes together. Starting in the 2-drop slot, one of our only 2 creatures in the deck, it's going to be Gremlin Tamer. It has the Eerie mechanic, so this human scout just simply reads, whenever an enchantment you control enters and whenever you fully unlock a room, you get to create a 1/1 red gremlin creature token. Has anybody actually seen the movie Gremlins? One of those 80s throwbacks. But the point I'm trying to make though is, we just want as many of these little critters on our side to then hopefully just overwhelm our opponent. That's mostly going to be plan A to the deck. To help us of course draw through our deck, we're also going to look in the 3-drop slot with our other card, Enduring Innocence. This is also a brand new card from Duskmorn, and it's an enchantment creature, Sheep Glimmer. It has lifelink and it's a 2/1, and it reads, whenever one or more other creatures you control with a power level of 2 or less enters, draw a card. This ability, however, only triggers once each turn. When Enduring Innocence dies, if it was a creature, you can return it to the battlefield under its owner's control, and it's now just an enchantment, and it basically just loses the creature type. These 2 cards simply together could just help us draw through our entire deck little by little by giving us a little extra value, and even if the Enduring Innocence dies, it can still come back just at least for a second round, making it a little bit harder for our opponent to deal with as it becomes a pure enchantment. As far as the non-creature spells in the deck go, this is again where I'm going to be honest, it's going to be a little lengthy, so bear with me. We'll try to get through this as fast as possible. So one of our 2 rats in the deck is going to be Supreme Verdict. Can't be countered, so it's great for our deck, and of course it just helps destroy everything on the battlefield. Now, as far as the room mechanics go, simply put, you'll play this card ideally as one side, and then later on you can unlock the other side at sorcery speed. So the beginning here is going to be Grand Entryway. On this side, if you unlock it, you get to create a 1/1 White Glimmer enchantment creature token. Elegant Rotunda on the other side just allows us to put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. We're going to use now also Underwater Tunnel. With this side, you unlock it, you Surveil 2. On the other side is Slimy Aquarium. If you unlock this side, you get to Manifest Dread and put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. For those that don't remember, Manifest Dread just simply means that you can look at the top 2 cards of your library. You put one on the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature, and the other is get put in your graveyard. You can then flip it up at any time for its mana cost if it's a creature card. Our second Wrath, and only a single copy of, is going to be Farewell. Sometimes we're just going to want to have to exile things, but be very careful because again, if you exile your enchantments, you might put yourself in a bad spot. So only use that until absolutely necessary, depending on what the board state is. But going to the rest of the rooms here, we also have Surgical Suite. On one side here, we unlock this. We can bounce back a target creature card with a mana value of 3 or less from our graveyard to the battlefield. We realistically only have 6 creatures, but this can be critical just to make sure we keep our game plan going. On the other side's Hospital Room. So when this side is unlocked, when we attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. Going into the next one here, this room is Bottomless Pool. When we unlock this side, return up to one target creature to its owner's hand, and the other side is Locker Room. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Central Elevator here, this is actually one of our key cards here that's going to help us, of course, win the game. Central Elevator side just allows us to then search our library for a room card that doesn't have the same name as a room we control. We reveal it and put it into our hand, shuffle. However, the other side is the game-winning side, so we'll talk about that side specifically for just a moment. The Promising Stairs side is a 3-mana side where it says at the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. You win the game, however, if there are 8 or more different names among unlocked doors of rooms you control. To clarify that real quick, you don't need actually 8 enchantments, you only need to have 8 unlocked rooms, and then helpfully win the game on the spot. So this is plan B to the deck to hopefully, again, get us our victory. To support the rest of the plan here, we have Dollmaker Shop here. When it says on one side here, whenever one or more non-toy creatures we control attack a player, you get to create a 1/1 white toy artifact creature token. The other side is Porcelain Gallery, and this side says creatures you control have a base power and toughness equal to the number of creatures we control. We also have Meat Locker here where it says once you unlock this side, you get to put 2 stun counters on a target creature. And the other side is Drowned Diner. This side just says when you unlock it, draw 3 cards, then discard a card. We also are going to utilize Mirror Room here, a single copy of this, where it says, I know you can't really see it with me in the way here, so just hear me out for a second. Mirror Room side just simply says, whenever we unlock this door, we get to create a token that's a copy of target creature we control, except it's a reflection in addition to its other creature types. The Fractured Realm side says, if a triggered ability of a permanent you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. And the final room is going to be Restricted Office on one side, where if we unlock this side, destroy all creatures with a power of 3 or greater. And the other side is finally Lecture Heart or protection for all of our permanents, where it says other permanents we control have hexproof. As far as your land base is concerned, since we are a budget deck, this is going to be as cheap as we can go. So it's going to be 6 plains, 6 islands, some abandoned campgrounds. This is one of the new lands here. It will come into play untapped unless a player has 13 or less life. We have Lonely Arroyo here. It just pings our opponent for 1 damage, or Tranquil Cove here, where it enters, we get to gain 1 life. And then a single copy of Volatile Vault, mostly again just to deal with a single creature land that may have give us trouble. Otherwise, for the sideboard, if you do want to take this into best of 3, this is going to be your best options to swap out. Deafening Silence here for enemy control decks out there and combo decks to slow them down. If we need to swap out a couple of rooms, you could put in Dovin's Veto here. If you want to go full control, you could actually even take out some of your actual creatures just to make room for these if you absolutely have to. Requisition Rate here is going to be your artifact and enchantment hate, or you can put +1/+1 counters on all of our tokens to help them give them the buff they need to then finish off our opponent. Soul Guy Lantern as your catch-all, of course, for Graveyard Hate. Ossification here is going to be your catch-all for any kind of creature or planeswalker removal. And then finally, Narset, Part of the Veils, just to help us again slow down our opponent so they can't draw cards, and also just help us dig out more of our pieces to help finish off our opponent. Is it possible to pull off a victory using a pure control deck in Explorer using nothing but almost all enchantments and tokens?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Well, there's only one way to find out, so I don't know about you, but I am super duper pumped to see how this deck can pull itself off. So let's take this deck into Explorer, let's play a couple matches, and see how well it does. Alright, my fire friends, here we go. Can we control the rooms and get a win with all of these enchantments? Well, the good news is we have plenty of rooms here and a few lands. They're a little bit slow, but we should be able to make this work. So I think we'll just put down our tap lands for the time being. Gain a little life. So we have a way to surveil here. Do some more bouncing. Yeah, I think this should be fine. Okay, opponent's doing Hardened Scales, so they're going to try to make some big creatures. That will help us, of course, in a way, because we will have plenty of options here when it comes to being able to bounce their stuff. Right, we're going to start with our first room, Underwater Tunnel. Okay, so for that, I guess we'll put the Meat Locker on top. That should be okay. We definitely have more than enough rooms to get through everything here. Right, let's Sage you. Wow, we should be able to at least slow them down. It won't matter how much life they get, only just because we have plenty of ways of just speeding up the process here. So in the meantime, let's put 2 stun counters. Okay. So that gives us plenty of time to keep doing our thing. And we should be able to unlock some rooms quickly here. Alright. Scout. Might be something annoying later, but we got plenty of time still. If we can get to our Wrath, we should be okay. Twists and turns. Alright, they explore some more. That's going to be a lot of counters to put on their creatures, so we're going to have to be pretty quick here to start bouncing stuff. Walker gets a little bit bigger, but that's okay. In the meantime, let's slow this down a bit more. Sorry, opponent. You get nothing from those counters. Okay, so pass here. So we gotta plan ahead. So next turn we should be able to draw some cards. We can manifest if we need to chump block, and also we can start drawing cards if we have a creature out. But it's still gonna be a ways away. Gotta, again, just keep making sure our opponent just slow down as much as possible. Alright, so with that, bottomless pool. Bounce away the Wild Growth Walker again. Phew, again, gotta stall as much as we can. I know it looks a little slow, but that's how we gotta play this. So let's unlock. Manifest. What do we get here? Alright. Take that. Gotta go swinging. I guess we'll just take the hit here first. Down to 17. Wild Growth Walker coming back. Okay, so what do we get here? Alright, so that's not too shabby for now. Let's, however, we need to get more action going. So let's draw some cards. Unlock another room. Draw 3. Ooh, okay. There we go. We got our wrath, so that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so with that, let's throw out... What do we throw away here? I guess we'll throw away an island. Actually, we'll throw away an extra plains. And then we will put down an island. And then surveil again. So let's see. Ooh, okay. So we have... There's our win con right there. That's what we need. So put that on top. No attacks. So all we just need to do is stall out as much as we can and just start unlocking rooms. We currently have right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rooms. We actually are close to actually getting our victory here. We just need to, again, buy ourselves a couple more turns and we should be good to go. Honestly, it doesn't matter what they swing with here. Even if they start pumping up a ton with their Wild Growth Walker, we just stall out for a hit, Supreme Verdict, and that should be it. They throw away another enchantment. Okay, tap land. So they're all tapped out, which is great for us. Block with our manifested creature. So it goes to the graveyard, that's fine. Too bad, opponent. Whole board's getting wrath right now. Whew, okay. Now that buys us plenty of time. So Promising Stairs. Unopposed. Okay, so what do we got now? So in order for us to get the win here, we need to have 8 or more different names among unlocked rooms we control. And we currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So all we just need right now is just one more room, and we should be good to go. Literally, we just need to get one more turn off, and we're fine. Okay, map for doing exploring. Totally fine. Again, big scary creature, but we're not worried about that. Alright, so here we go. We just need to stall out this turn right here, and we are solid.
This is where the fun begins.
Gremlin Tamer. We will play Grand Entryway. Make a token. Make another token. Make another token. And I guess we'll unlock another one, just in case. Put it on the Gremlin. Put it on the Glimmer. Okay. I mean, unless if you could blow up all of our enchantments opponents, we basically have the win next turn. There's nothing you can do at this point. I seriously doubt they have any enchantment removal in the main deck. So here we go, everybody. This is what you all been waiting for. Sure, go ahead and explore, opponent. I don't care. Okay, here we go. They scry. Sure, get their pump. Do whatever you want, opponent. That's fine, sure, swing. I'll even chump block. Doesn't even matter. Just wait for it, wait for it. There we go. Toss that, no big deal because we win. There, nice, love it. Unlocked enough rooms to get the win there. We just stalled out with just a bunch of enchantments and we got our win. Nice. That's how easy it is. Actually, it was a lot easier than I thought. All right, my fire friends, here we go. Can we overwhelm our opponent with a bunch of room value? Well, the good news is though, we do have an Enduring Innocence, we have a Pseudo Wrath here, and we have ways of bouncing things, so maybe we can keep this and we should be good. We don't really have a way of building tokens to take advantage of Enduring Innocence, but we'll try. Okay, Abandoned Campground. This will create for us at least one Glimmer, so that should be good. Okay, Deep Root Pilgrimage. Oh, all right. It's looks like it'll be a Merfolk deck. We'll see how that goes. The good news though is we do have ways at least of bouncing creatures, so we can stall out a little bit longer. We just need that Enduring Innocence to go down, and we should be good from here. Nothing from our opponent yet. That's fine. Enduring Innocence. Alright, on the field. Flood Pit's Downer. Alright. Putting the stone counter on it doesn't really hurt us that much. They swing. Silver Gill Adept. They reveal 1 Merfolk. They draw a card. Okay, so the good news is we do have a Wrath, so that's great for later. Until then, however... Okay, Grand Entryway. Make a token, draw a card. Bottomless Pit. We will bounce away their Flood Pit Downer, just in case. They swing. They make a Merfolk. We'll block here. Boulder and Hexcatcher. Oh. That's very annoying, but that's okay. This is fine, everyone. Until then... Okay, Meat Locker. Ideally, if they actually can get a couple more Lords out, we actually can get more value out of our Restricted Office, but we'll see. Okay. We did make a Merfolk token for them, so that's kind of annoying, but that's okay. Flood Pit's Downer again. They tap us, they swing. They'll make another Merfolk. Okay, so we might have to Wrath here, so we don't really have a choice, but Supreme Verdict. Can't really counter that one, opponent. Okay, whole board's clear. Enduring Innocence does come back. Well, at the very least, our opponent is also a little slow on mana, so that does, again, give us time. Merfolk Mistbinder. Oh, man. I should have waited for that to come down, but okay. We will... Bottomless Pool. Bounce away. Unlock. For no real value, but mostly this is, again, just a speed up thing. So if we do manage to run into our win con, we at least have enough rooms open to get the win. Merfolk Mistbinder again. Okay. Well, that does mean that they literally don't actually have any other lands. That helps us out quite a bit. Though I feel kind of bad because it feels a little unfair. But, I mean, hey, that's just how the game goes. Okay, Supreme Verdict will be great for the future. I guess we'll Surveil. We need a land. Okay, so there's our Promising Stairs, which is great. We'll do it this way. So we'll flip those. And we'll pass here. So at least what I'm planning on doing is I want them to kind of flood the board a bit more so we can just Wrath them completely. And then buy ourselves a little bit more action here. But we need lands. Mistway Spy. Okay, I guess Grand Entryway. That makes the enchantment. That'll help us draw a card. We will bounce away Merfolk Mistbinder again. Floodblitz Downer. Tapped. Bounced. Okay. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. That comes down. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh. We're gonna be cutting it really close here, everybody.
I'm in danger!
Oh, man. Really? Wow. Wow. Okay. We're down, but we're not out still. So here's how we do this. So, from here, we're just going to have to Wrath the board. Okay. Still in this. Some way, somehow. We still are. How many rooms do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Chimera. Even if we tap it down, that just makes a Merfolk for them. Oh, jeez. Wow. I didn't think that was actually going to screw us over. And then... yeah. Doesn't really matter here. We can stun counter it, but it makes a token, and that's enough to beat us down.
Well, this stinks.
Wow. Our own abilities actually came to screw us over. Unbelievable. Oh boy, wow. Maybe this deck is not as good as I thought it was. Alright, my fire friends, here we go. Can we get a victory with our room enchantments? Well, we have plenty of mana here, and we do have quite a few rooms to start the whole process, but are we too slow for the format now? I guess we'll find out. Okay, well, wow, they went down to 2 there. Okay. That does help us out quite a bit, because we are very, very slow, but we'll try to get around this. Vulgar Epicure. Thanks for 1. Okay, so we got a Supreme Verdict for later. That'll be great. So at this point, we just need to unlock as many rooms as fast as we can. Just get all the rooms we can possibly get here. Okay? Alright, so Thalia will slow us down a bit, which is annoying, but that's okay. She doesn't affect, actually, thankfully enough, the actual abilities. So that does help us out a little bit once we get a couple more of these down. In case of the Gateway Express. Ouch. Okay, it's fine. We still got time. Volatile Vault. Alright, so with that, let us play... Let's see, actually... Let's unlock a room. Manifest. Oh, man. We really could use that rat, but okay. Just need a farewell. At the very least, it's big enough where Thalia can't really swing willy-nilly, so that does give us some time. Okay. Well, opponent is throwing away, so wow, they actually got rid of their Gleeful Demolition? I'm surprised. Okay, well, I mean, that does help us out a bit. So, Meat Locker. We will stun Thalia. No attacks, though, just in case. Alright. Alright. Well, the good news now is looks like now we have better control of the board, so we can now slowly start putting things down and unlocking rooms. Draw 3 cards. So you can at least see here, the deck is a little bit more viable versus, say, an actual, I don't know what I was trying to say there.
Huh?
What I'm trying to say is the deck is pretty good against aggro decks that are not super heavy when it comes to spells. So their own Thalia. Oh, okay. Well, our opponent kind of gave up there. I mean, yay, I'll take that win, but oh man, we were so close to just getting off the room victory there. We actually could have gotten it. But as you kind of say, as I was trying to explain, basically once we have enough rooms down, our opponent here, they're aggro, but they probably just didn't have what they needed to slow down our game plan here. We don't really care, even if they have a Thalia out. That does make us even slower, but once you have at least one room unlocked, the other one will be an ability. So that does mean we can get around a Thalia's ability as well. Nice. I guess I'll just take the win. And there you have it, everybody. So that was our room control for you for Explorer. And you tell me in the comments below, what do you think? Would you play this deck in any way, shape, or form? Truth be told, I honestly like what the deck is doing, but maybe we didn't build it quite well. I mean, you saw in our matches there, when we can stall out our opponent against like an aggro deck, the deck does a great job with that. However, if our deck is too slow against more faster aggro decks like mono red, we tend to get destroyed pretty quickly. Having said all that, one of the biggest advantages we do have, at least for our deck, is not too many opponents will pack a ton of enchantment hate. So as long as you avoid maybe say playing your central elevator / promising stairs until the very end, once you unlock enough rooms, you should be able to get your win very easily if your opponent has no way to answer your win con here. The other thing I will just mostly say is, I honestly hoped that the Gremlin Tamer / Enduring Innocence combo would have been a little bit better for us, but it just wasn't working as well as I thought it was. Still, I wouldn't take that away from this deck. I don't know if this is the right combination of colors for rooms in general. Maybe we might want to look at a different combination in the future. But until then, here's what I would recommend for you. If you do like the deck, I think it still has potential, but I think it will get a lot better if we give some upgrades. So, as you already know, if you've managed to make it this far into the video, you are my true fiery friends. And because of that, here's what I would recommend for a non-budget variant of rooms. Now, as far as upgrades, here's what I would recommend for you. You probably are going to want to actually go into a third color, which actually will give you quite a bit of variety and better options for you for rooms and also for removal overall. So this will allow us to unlock, of course, Lightning Helix for a bit better spot removal. You can now move to the main deck Dovin's Veto to give you a little bit more protection. This will mean, however, you're going to have to kind of figure out a little bit on your own the ratio of which rooms you want. Only reason because is I honestly still am kind of trying to figure it out myself. Rooms are actually a little bit trickier to work with than I thought. They are actually a lot of fun, but the downside, of course, is also trying to figure out how much mana you're going to need to kind of balance out everything will kind of just depend on how the meta is working. So just keep that in mind if you actually do want to take this into ranked. As you can see from the footage here, it's still a bit of a work in progress even for me, because I'm still trying to figure out again what are the best rooms you want to keep, because we are an extremely slow deck. However, the other upgrades at the very minimum, if you want to do nothing else, as always, upgrade your mana base. So at least if you are going to go into 3 colors, it is going to get a little on the expensive side, so just be aware of that. But we are going to have to invest in a lot of shock lands if you don't have them already. You could throw in, of course, any of the other dual lands that you have that are rare, such as, of course, the Surveil lands if you want to. If you have Triomes, ideally, you probably want those also, just to help make sure your mana is fixed. As far as the actual other lands that give you some utility, Iganjo, Seed of the Empire could be helpful for spot removal in a pinch. Hall of the Storm Giants gives you, of course, a creature land just to close out the game. Sogazin, of course, can be something that you can use as more of like a panic button just to give you a little protection and chump block. For the upgrades to the sideboard, you're mostly going to want to have a little bit of everything. So Authority of the Consuls will slow down more aggressive decks out there. Keep the Deafening Silence of, as I mentioned. A single copy of Fragmentizes to take off a pesky artifact or enchantment in the early game. Keep the Soul Guide Lanterns. Keep a single copy of Narset. Add in Ghostly Dancers. These are actually a really powerful card for us and also can give us a plan B or C to the deck if we go into best of 3 and have that as an additional option. And then finally, use Chandra Awaken Inferno, kind of like as a plan C to the deck, just to make sure that you have another way to get to victory if your rooms somehow all fall apart. But with that all out of the way, here are my final thoughts that I want to give on the deck. Overall, as you saw today, rooms are actually a lot more powerful than we anticipated, and I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. However, we have only just gotten started in Duskmourn, so it's going to be a while until we find just the right combination of them and the right colors to figure out what is the best version of rooms. However, until then, if you are a fan of control decks, if you're a fan of enchantment decks, and if you're a fan of alternate win cons where you can just put down some slow incremental value and just hopefully just trigger off a victory out of nowhere with a 1-card win, then I would definitely say, give this deck a try, and I assure you, when you manage to build up a token army with a bunch of gremlins, or you manage to just overwhelm your opponent with a bunch of rooms to unlock and get a win con, you'll definitely have a lot of fun doing so. You'll be very surprised at how you can pull this off, and you will definitely not be disappointed. That's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later!